today for Convocation, a ceremony that is the occasion for all to consider a central aspiration that makes us into a community, to be educated. We are reminded that we are here in the first place as a school, and we are reminded of what our mission is and what our goals should be. Faculty and student speakers therefore remind us both what the purpose of our central enterprise is and what the school year has in store for us all. Beyond our speakers, we will have the chance to recognize and congratulate the accomplishments of your classmates. I want to begin the ceremony by taking a moment to talk about a curricular theme for the year, Reverence for the Earth. During the coming weeks and months, we have a special opportunity to reflect on our relationship with the natural world, to strengthen our feeling of connectedness to it, to stimulate our appreciation of its beauty and bounty, to heighten our sense of responsibility for its well-being, and to deepen our concern for its increasingly endangered health and our commitment to act on that concern. Although our first big event for the year will be our Mountain Day hike in October, I want to charge each of you to move beyond these walls and into nature as much as possible this year. I recently heard a talk given in which there was reference to what occurs in an internet minute in the United States, and it amazed and frightened me all at the same time. Just take these in. 2.78 million YouTube videos views every minute. Almost 70,000 hours of Netflix watched. 247,000 new tweets. 527,000 Snapchats. And maybe most appalling, Amazon does over $200,000 in sales every minute. Every minute. Buy stock. We got these statistics from thevisualcapitalist.com. My point is that we are increasingly spending more time connected to our devices, and I am as much a culprit as anyone. As a result, we have become far less connected to the wonders of our natural world. And I would also argue that this increasing connectedness has made us less inquisitive, creative, and empathetic. So go for a walk. Stop and literally smell the roses, even just in fly. And take time in your day to appreciate the earth that we call home. And so I welcome you to the start of a new school year, and I wish you all the best. And we rise. This year, she is the third head of chapel and the first head of technical theater. Last year, she was the first head of Dorcas and helped her class raise over $10,000 for the Abraham and Mildred Goldstein Endowment Fund for ovarian cancer research in honor of Angelina. the Integrated Refugee and Immigrant Services to help the relocated Syrian refugees in Connecticut, and the Westover Community Service Trip in Kentucky. As a dedicated techie, she has participated in 6 Westover theater productions. During Fiona's sophomore year, she started weekly news announcements to enlighten students about current events outside the Westover community. And at this past graduation, she received the Ellen K. McGinnis Award, given to a student in the junior class who shows independence of self, a sense of humor, courage, and love of life for herself and others. Please join me in welcoming Fiona Boyle.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Fiona. I am so happy that we are back at Westover. I hope that everyone is finding her classes okay and getting used to the new schedule. I know that it's pretty hot right now, but in a few weeks, by Parents' Weekend, the heat will be on. So, the beginning of the year is a bag of emotions for every student. For new girls, this year can be daunting with all the new experiences, like leaving home for the first time, learning your way around campus, and meeting teachers. Your teachers might seem intimidating, but they're very supportive and considerate. Further, here at Westover, you will meet new people from around the country and the world. You'll experience Westover traditions like chapel, lantern, candlelight, Dorcas, Germans, and then you'll also find out what Dorcas and Germans mean. And most importantly, you'll figure out which one of Robert's muffins is your favorite. For returning girls, you're not the new kids on campus anymore. This year is full of new responsibilities like new roommates, more rigorous classes, or leadership positions. Although it can be difficult to acclimate to changes and responsibilities, know that there are always people who will support you here at Westover. For the class of 2017, this is our year! Our class has grown into strong, independent young women since freshman year, and in fewer than 9 months, we will leave Westover. Life inside these yellow walls has given us the academic tools and grammar to succeed in college and life. So let's make this year the best it can be. Here's a bit of perspective into my summer. After APs, regular exams, traditions, and graduation in June, I started my summer with the expectation of relaxing and catching up on sleep. I had a bit of relaxation while I spent time with friends, caught up on Netflix series, dug into the novel War and Peace, went to the beach, and gardened. In addition, I spent time with my mom, who has been battling ovarian cancer for the past 5 years. Luckily, this summer she had a 3-month chemo break, so her hair grew back a little bit, and she had enough energy to go out shopping with me and give me driving lessons. Now, although I did have an enjoyable summer, I was anxious about my college essays and where I will be applying. I also became apprehensive when I watched the news about the terrorist attacks in France, the shooting in Orlando, the injustice to people in our country, and many other events. The upcoming presidential election is also turning out to be fairly stressful too. I read about both parties because my parents encouraged me to learn about both sides of an argument, and every time I read about the election, I become nervous and worried about what can happen to our country and the world. Sometimes it seems as though people are losing respect for their brothers and sisters. And finally, as the days of summer melted away, I'd be worried about my senior year schedule, my classes, and homework. Fortunately, I was able to think about what I was experiencing, and as I did so, I realized that things can get better. My first realization was that we can't balance everything and do everything. When I try to fit in school, my home life, social life, and free time into my schedule, I end up adding more things that I can actually take on. During this year at Westover, I must work on balancing my life by concentrating on what really matters. I need to live with a more long-term view, which includes time in the present. The second thing I realized, which is part of this necessary perspective or long-term view, was the importance of family. I spent a week at the beach with my family, and we agreed to put our cell phones away for the whole week. Our laughter, quiet time, and attention to each other gave us a happiness and ease that settled our worries about work, school, and almost everything else. Here at Westover, we are given an unbelievable opportunity to grow together and express our examined opinions. We form tight bonds, which allow us to have a home away from home, and we speak honestly with one another about what matters to us. And when we do that, we become more considerate in our judgments, and we are thus given a more human perspective. Further, I discovered a poem, Desiderata, written in the 1920s by Max Ehrmann. I had never realized how important it is, as he says, to go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and to remember what peace there may be in silence. Over the summer, I put my phone away and I went for walks. The walks and the quiet time almost slowed down time for me. I became more aware about how constant updates about the news, politics, and friends can affect my emotions and moods. As updates and communications are exchanged faster than ever on all our electronic devices, it is easy to think that our lives must move faster and faster. We become fixated on only what is in the screen in front of us, on the needs of the moment. But we must remember again, in the words of Ehrmann, that in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. And throughout this year, as you get caught up in work, and drama, and athletics, or the many activities you will find yourself immersed in here at Westover, step back, take a breath, reframe the moment, and take another reminder from Ehrmann that you are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars, and you have a right to be here. Thank you.
Next, our faculty speaker. Allie Hildebrand is beginning her 11th year at Westover. In addition to teaching our art history and humanities courses, she also oversees some of our museum studies internship program and is now co-directing the Schumacher Gallery. Having graduated from Middlebury College in 2003 as a joint art history English major with a minor in elementary education, she then went on to work in the education department of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Her interest in museum work and art history led her to Clark Art Institute at Williams College, where she earned her master's in art history in 2006. While she has always sought to make her way back to the classroom, Allie has also worked in the education departments of a number of museums, including the Middlebury College Museum of Art, the Williams College Museum of Art, and the MFA in Boston. She is the proud mother of 3 beautiful children, if I do say so myself. And all of the good looks come from her. And loves spending time with her and her adoring husband. It is my pleasure to introduce Allie Hildebrand as our faculty convocation.
About stones and the walls they built. It's hard to miss the enormous stone walls that border our campus and give it its unique meaning and charm. For those of us new or old to the school, these walls may seem intimidating, even confining. And in fortifying our cloistered community, they certainly haven't helped detract from our living in the yellow memory. Yes, they even seem to be there at times to keep the boys out. With foundations that reach just as deep into the earth as the walls stand tall, these stone walls seem to reinforce the importance of having a sound foundation, of having depth, endurance, and certainty. Indeed, these walls can feel like certainties. And while they were not intended as fences in the history of stone wall building in New England, these walls, in their partitioning of the land, can reinforce ideas of property and ownership, of this is mine and that is yours, with choosing sides, with taking a stance. And in their innate sense of division, stone walls seem to influence or define our sense of place, rather than respond to it. A wall's solid foundation, then, and the fortified enclosure it creates can feel enduring, unalterable, and certain. But lest we forget that with these qualities, we measure the walls and their stones in terms of our own biological time, instead of their geological time. We forget that this seemingly static rubble flows, moves, shifts, pushes, changes. The rocks themselves, forged in high temperatures billions of years ago deep in the earth, and shaped 30,000 years ago by an Antarctic-sized glacier, are indices of the Earth's change. And as these stones, products of fire and ice, were piled into walls to make way for farming, and then left to crumble when farming gave way to industry, these rocks and their walls are also indices of human change. Even the nature of a stone wall itself demonstrates change. To paraphrase the artist Annie Goldsworthy, the wall, built stone upon stone, is like growth. Process, then, change, is apparent in the wall. It's what it's made of. So to see a wall for its foundation, for its history, for the direction it's been in, can lead you back to the certainties of life. But the change, so resident in a stone wall, also leads in another way. A stone wall has its own direction. It makes a path, a line. Like a vine, like a tree, a stone wall has a way of drawing itself. It may be hard for us to see the straight lines and square corners of Westover stone walls as an index of change, of creating its own line. But the artist Andy Goldsworthy reminds us of the movement of the stone when he made his work Storm King Wall between 1997 and 1998, an image of which is printed on the back of your chapel program. And just so I don't disappoint, here's where I slip in some art history for you. Using a little over 1,500 tons of fieldstone, Goldsworthy and his team built a roughly 2,300-foot-long wall that seems to reside in a perpetual state of transformation. Giving the illusion of dipping through a pond, the wall on one side of the pond extends in a straight definitive line all the way to the edge of the Storm King grounds, where it meets a busy highway of cars and trucks, all rushing in another straight line. On the other side of the pond, however, and this is the view you can see in your program, the wall emerges from the water and begins to weave, bend, ebb, in and among rows of trees, curling back and forth, so that the viewer loses track of what is inside and what is outside, and so loses her sense of taking sides in the first place. As the line of the wall transforms, Goldsworthy encourages us to slow down, to think of our own movement in terms of fluidity, conversation, connection, and change. He writes, "There are no trees in the field across the lake for the wall to respond to, and so it's straight. The wall and the trees wove because of the trees. The wall and the field is straight because of the field. Both are lines that talk about the places in which they are drawn." By allowing the line to create, the wall to create its own line by responding to place, Goldsworthy reminds us that movement and change are inevitable, even on those things that seem foundational and certain. Some of you may feel set on a certain path, 4 years at Westover, college, job, maybe family. What these walls remind us of, however, is that we must build our own line, and that these paths change. While each of you will leave Westover with the solid foundation of a liberal arts education and a community of people who love and support you, you will also learn to walk your own line. And if Goldsworthy's wall shows us anything, it's that these lines are not always straight, but they respond to place, to people, to other paths. And while at times it may feel like we're following a line that may not be entirely our own, there's a degree of comfort in knowing that change is something you can count on. It's what our walls are made of. Any wall builder will tell you that in building a wall, the placement of each stone comes down to a series of ad hoc decisions. As walls are built upon a whim then, so too do our own daily impromptu decisions build the paths of our lives. How many decisions? The average person, in fact, makes around 9,000 decisions each day. So when you look at what you lay each day in the wall, a single stone doesn't seem to amount to much. And in making those 9,000 decisions each day, it's certainly easy to lose track of the line you want your wall to take. So when you're thinking about the decisions that make up your path, that build the line of your wall, consider this story. My mom sent this to me in one of those email chains for a decade ago. I'm going to paraphrase it, but some of you have heard this before. A time management speaker came to speak to a group of students, and to make his point, he proceeded to conduct a demonstration. After taking out a glass jar and filling it with fist-sized rocks, he asked the class, "Is this jar full?" Everyone in the class responded, "Yes." The speaker then proceeded to take out a bucket of gravel and poured it into the glass. As the small stones filled in the spaces between the larger stones, he asked the class, "Is the jar full?" And the students, wising up now, responded, "Probably not." He proceeded to add sand, asked the same question, and then added water to the glass before asking the class about the point of the demonstration. One student raised his hand and he said, "The point is, no matter how full your schedule is, if you try really hard, you can always fit some more things into it." Certainly, the speaker replied, "But there's more here to consider. The truth this illustration teaches us is if you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all." So what are your big rocks? As you said about building your wall each day, what do you need to do to make sure you fit those rocks in? Certainly your time at Westover may feel a bit like that glass jar, where you're looking at them as much as you can during our short time together. Classes, sports, clubs, leadership positions, and this goes on. And doing so can feel daunting and intimidating. All of you will be making 9,000 decisions a day. Choices from what shall I have for breakfast to what college should I attend. And like Goldsworthy's wall, so too will our life paths respond to those decisions. So don't worry about making the right choice every time, because in the end it's just one stone. And you can build your path tomorrow. Build your wall to follow a new line. The point is to make sure some of those decisions each day are about you and what you need. What are my big rocks? Spending time with my kids is one. Connecting with my adoring husband each day is another. Teaching you all is actually one. But one of my other big rocks was really watching terribly cheesy movies. I love watching all kinds of movies, but especially the ones that are sheer entertainment. And after a day of giving of myself to students, to friends, and to family, I just need a little time for me. So don't judge your big rock, whether it's reading fashion magazines or calling your mom, whether it's going for a run or hanging out with friends. The point isn't what your big rock is. The point is that you make time for it, that you make time for you. Each of you has under your seat a rock, some of you discovered them, that you may take with you when you leave today. So my hope for you is that these rocks that you discovered will be a reminder to do something for yourself each day, because you can't give to others until you yourself are filled. Build your path with these rocks each day. They will provide certainty in your sense of self, no matter what course your path takes. Our lives, like these rocks, are shifting and changing and flowing together, but our walls anchor us to ourselves, to each other, to our place, to our communities, and make something solid of all that moves around us. Building the line of your life path will change, and so may feel uncertain. But the choices we make each day, those big rocks that let us know who we are, they are a certain stone.
Julie Falstick is delighted to be starting her second year as head of school. She grew up outside of Boston, earned her BA in history from Smith College, earned her MFA in creative writing from Emerson College, and spent a year studying at University College in London. This is her 21st year working in boarding school, and she has served in the past as a dorm parent, a student life assistant, department head, an academic dean, and assistant head, and has taught English, ESL, creative writing, and film studies. She has 2 novel manuscripts sitting in a drawer, which you need to see, and might just get the gumption up to start a 3rd sometime soon. She lives in Henry House with her dog, Nessa, and looks forward to hosting the community there throughout the year. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Julie Walker.
It's interesting that we did not compare our speeches at all, and the same thing happened last year where there seemed to be some similar themes, which is curious, which is part of my talk. So the spring night before I graduated from college, I went to a fortune teller, a psychic. He had been highly recommended by a friend. I went through a period where I was very interested in tarot cards, palm reading, anything to give me a clue as to how I should move forward and how my life was destined to work out. The world seemed so vast to me, and I felt like a little speck with my bachelor's degree in history and my love of novels and theater and art. I was not like some of my comrades who had already lined up their paralegal job in New York City, complete with a 1980s power suit with the shoulder pads that went on for days. I did not own a power suit. I honestly probably didn't even know where to find a power suit. So my anxiety brought me to a psychic who lived in a little out-of-the-way cottage hugging the edge of Boston Harbor adjacent to the airport. I had not been to this neighborhood before, and I have not been to it since. I can't remember most of what he told me, except in general, I felt as if things would be okay. I know for sure the specifics of what he predicted did not actually happen. However, he gave me one piece of advice that I do remember. He said that people often frame things in terms of love and hate, but the real tension is between curiosity and fear. And he advised choosing the path of curiosity over fear whenever possible. Fear, unless you are running from a hungry man-eating dinosaur, is not a very useful emotion. It causes us to shut down, to be defensive, to become smaller versions of ourselves. I recently read a quote by the author Elizabeth Gilbert that resonated with me. One of those lines I really wish I'd written. I think the greatest stroke of luck in my life is that I am 1% more curious than I am terrified. The world can be an overwhelming and confusing place, and it takes courage to conquer fear. And with courage, all else is possible, and I truly believe that. And I believe curiosity is the first step towards courage. Curiosity helps you start with a question. It opens up possibilities, rather than shutting down options with a judgment. So I'm asking everyone this year to be curious. Start sentences with, I wonder. Wonder about yourself and your capacities and your predilections. Try something new, and even if it doesn't work out as you hope, be curious about that. Push yourself a little further than you've ever gone in something you assume you've mastered. Revisit something you thought was set in stone about you. Wonder about it. And wonder about the world outside of Westover's walls. One major event going on right now that Fiona already referenced is the American presidential election. And for a number of reasons, it's historic, and for a number of reasons, it has been somewhat confusing and overwhelming. And I wonder what would happen if rather than first choosing a side, we explore this election first and foremost with curiosity. I wonder why polling shows young women are not that excited about the first woman presidential nominee. I think it's a thrilling accomplishment for American women, and when I was your age, I probably thought it was never going to happen. And it's a long time coming, and we are far behind many other countries in the world. But polls show that most young women think it was going to happen sooner or later, so it's not really that big a deal. I wonder what you all think about having the first female presidential nominee of a major party. You're students at a girls' school, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about that this fall. And I wonder why someone with no previous political experience is the nominee of a major party. That's interesting. Why does that appeal to people at this point in time? It's a complex answer. But mostly, I want you all to wonder what makes a good leader. For all of you that are American citizens, who do you want representing you and why? For our community members from around the world, what would you like to see in an American leader? Do some research. Read a lot. Read widely. Seek out opinions different than your own. Ask more questions. Follow your curiosity. And throughout the year, as you come up against tough questions, puzzling circumstances, or hard choices, activate your curiosity. Wonder about some small part of your conundrum and keep wondering. It will open your mind and lead you to solutions or conclusions, or even more questions than you may ever have considered before. So where did pursuing my curiosity over my fear take me? Well, I wanted to share this story because it does relate to our theme of reverence for the earth. A few years ago, I was walking my dog up in the Berkshires along a route I had walked many, many times before. And about halfway through this walk is a fork in the road. And to the left is this gentle slope, and to the right was this hill that came up like a right angle, like it's like hit you in the face. And most of the time, I chose to go left. I am not a major hiker. Many years ago, the one time I hiked Mount Monadnock, New Hampshire, I was, no joke, the last person off the mountain. I had 5 school buses full of students waiting for me and the kind companion who had stayed with me and who also repeatedly lied to me to say we were almost at the bottom. But for some reason that day in the Berkshires, I said, I wonder what would happen if I went right instead of left. So I went right, and it was a challenging climb, but I could do it. And it wasn't as hard as I had anticipated, which is often the case. Things are often not as hard as you anticipate. And that also feels good when you can do more than you think you could. And as I crested the hill, the most beautiful vista over this town in the Berkshires, where I had been visiting for years, came into view. And I saw this place in a different way, and I saw my place in it in a different way. So approach this theme here with curiosity. Ask yourself, I wonder what part of this theme is most interesting to me. And ask perhaps an even more revealing question. I wonder what part of this theme is least interesting to me. Follow the thread. See where it leads. See what you learn. See how you grow. We spend a lifetime getting to know ourselves. Seniors, you may think you have nothing new to discover about Westover, nothing to wonder about. Mr. Hungerford, you've been here 36 years. But I wonder if we all keep following our curiosity, what new and splendid things will be revealed about ourselves, our community, and our world. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call Tom Hungerford for the presentation of the Margaret Love Stevens Award.
You know, it's interesting, we're now going to get some awards, and the first one is the Margaret Love Stevens Chair for Moral and Ethical Education, given to a faculty or staff member each year. It makes sense that we would give an award in ethics and moral education, because everything that you hear about your education has its foundation in ethics and morality. It's just interesting, and the curiosity that we've heard about, the rocks, all of the things that our speakers have spoken about, they kind of have their foundation in the moral imagination, certainly. So here are the words of the award. The school's focus on the character education of its students is woven into every aspect of the daily life of the school community, not just in the classroom and the chapel, but on its playing fields and gymnasium courts, along the dormitory corridors and the dining hall, in club meetings and discussions, and excursions beyond the walls of the school, in between every exchange of ideas that takes place among faculty, staff, and students. This wide range of moral education does not occur in a vacuum. It requires the commitment and leadership of the entire adult community within Westover, teaching faculty, dorm parents, administrative staff, coaches, and club advisors. The opportunities for moral education arise from the daily interactions of the adults and with one another and with the students. They reflect the individual's commitment to lead by example and to share their educational disciplines, their personal interests, and their life experiences in a way that enhances the moral, spiritual, and ethical lives of students. This year's recipient is probably best characterized by a phrase we sometimes use at Westover, namely generosity of spirit. She has a keen ear and eye for those in need. Whenever she finds that a student needs some sort of help, she is among the first to respond with cookies, practical assistance like a car ride, support in the form of a conference, even when she is pressed for time, or attendance at a game, a play, a concert, chapel, a club meeting, assembly, or just an offer of help. She is just as generous with adults. This woman is also known for her honesty and integrity. She means what she says to both students and her peers. She's been a dorm parent, director of residential life, teacher, coach, advisor, and loyal friend. In all of these relations, she has treated students and faculty alike with generosity, loyalty, honesty, integrity, and kindness. She's been, in the best sense, fully engaged in the many contexts in which ethics are imparted at our school. For these reasons, the faculty and staff have chosen Laura Swarsberg.
Please stand for the singing group. Girls, please stand when your name is called and let's hold applause till the end. Sophie Eckert, Brianna Bergen, Shan Shan Chan, Trish Collins, Elizabeth Cook, Lindsay Cronin, Lydia Gvidowitz, Jacqueline DeSantis, Meredith Diamond, Jen Dunbar, Molly Galusha, Bridget Gagliano, Gagliano, Judy Powell, Serena Hogan, Julia Wong, Brianna Jones, Emma Juvon, Maya Kumar, Janine Liu, Emily McDonald, Lydia Mayhem, Sophie McLaughlin, Meredith Moore, Altuya Nat, Jackie Navas, Sophia Pernerski, Ali Saperstone, Olivia Senna, Madeline Steele, Mira Submarinian, Sofia Sedavatskaya, Sarah Tomasco, Elaine Wang, Isabella Wang, Tina Wu, Nikki Yan, Gabby Young, and Jenny Tang. And now I'd like to call Julie Falstick back up for some more student awards.
All right, I have a few awards that we have here. We'll start with the Westover Scholastic Award. The Westover Scholastic Award goes to the returning student who has the highest average for the preceding year, regardless of class. This year, the award goes to Isabella Wong. The Sexton Walker Scholarship Award goes to a returning student who, in the opinion of the faculty and administration, has made excellent use of her abilities and the opportunities available to her, and who possesses the character, the spirit, and the will to persevere in reaching her goals. The award this year goes to Ibukun Ogumomi. Scholarship Award goes to one of the 4 top-ranking seniors. Besides being one of the outstanding students in her class academically, other criteria for the award are based upon her personal qualities and contribution to school life. This year, the award goes to Patricia Trish Collins. Scholarship Award goes to a student who has attended Westover for at least 2 years. She must be capable academically and possess personal qualities such as enthusiasm for life and learning, integrity, concern for others, self-discipline, resiliency, and a sense of fairness. This year, the award goes to Lauren Boucher.